call the October 29th special meeting of the Bucksport Planning Board to order. Roll call.
Steve Bishop.
Here.
Brian McDonald.
Here.
David Grant.
Present.
Steve Fight.
Present.
Edward Belcher.
Here.
George is not here. Jay DeRose.
Here.
Review and acceptance of minutes. We don't have them with us, so we'll do that next time. Chair report. I don't have a report. Code enforcement officers report.
I guess the only thing of note is that Whole Oceans has paid their fee now that that schedule was finalized, and they're still waiting on the SLOTA permit, so they still can't start. Other than that, I don't think I have anything to report. And here's George.
Limited public forum. There's an opportunity for the public to address the board on matters related to land use or planning in the town of Bucksport. Typically not on the agenda for the evening. So at this time, I'll open the limited public forum if anyone wishes to come up. Seeing no one, I'll close the limited public forum. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, application to amend an approved subdivision plan. The applicant is Bucksport Mill LLC.
So, I didn't do any big fancy production, other than, I think you guys are fairly familiar with this site and this subdivision. This is a very minor change, but it needed to be done prior to November 1st because of a proposed sale of the power plant. It is going to close on November 1st, assuming we approve this tonight. Basically, there was an easement for the lines that go from the power plant to the substation, and that rather than have an easement, they want to transfer a portion of land to make that property actually go with the power plant. So they take it out of Lot 3 and add it to Lot 1. This was somewhat rushed because of the deadline of November 1st and us trying to help them. But we had enough time to do everything that needed to be done, with the exception that after I mailed out the packets to you folks, lawyers were looking at some things and they wanted to change some language. So there's a few things on the updated drawings that I have here and that they brought to sign, where they changed some of the, just like the names of the lots and stuff to match other legal documents that they had. Doesn't change anything as far as the bearings or any of that. Everything like that on your lots are accurate, with the exception of the loop road. The loop road moves just a little bit because on the drawing that you have, it was going a little bit across MMA's property, and on the new drawing, it's been moved so that it doesn't go across MMA's lot. So, I have the updated drawing here if you'd like to. You can see the loop road goes around lot 4 in MMA. So, everybody wants to look at that.
Okay, that, is that you see this?
There's just a bunch of copies of those for us?
Yeah.
There is, if you want a copy, but those are all the same drawing. That's correct. Or is it all 3 drawings?
The top 3 are 3. There's just 2 sets.
Should be a full set.
Yeah.
So drawing 2 and drawing 3 of the set, there's no changes. They're simply going to have us sign them so that when all 3 get filed, they'll be filed at the same time. Just for ease of looking things up at the registry of deeds. So, with that, unless you have any questions for me,
So this must be generating also a new deed.
I assume so. We have to.
Yeah, for meets and bounds, yeah,
Right.
you do have to.
It would be a deed for this strip of land.
Yeah, it looks like.
This is the perimeter road here.
How do they, how do they, get their cooling water?
To get it off their property.
It's down here, pump station's down here, plants are up here. There's underground pipes.
Well, they still have easements, the easements don't go away, it's just that particular
I
easement
don't
that
know.
went to
It's
the
gotta be
substation
taken off.
is changing.
They're here. If we have questions, we can ask.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Does anybody have a presentation or anything, or are you just here to answer questions?
So, I mean, Luke said everything really that's necessary. I'm Mary Costigan
Thank you.
with Bernstein Shore, apologies. And with me today are Jeff and John. Jeff is with you know these guys, right? So we're just moving the line, as Luke said, between lots 1 and 3, giving property to Buck Gen from Buck Mill to incorporate certain features into the Buck Gen site, which is lot 1. But nothing is changing. The only thing that's changing is that line that you see on the face of the earth. There's no construction associated with this, nothing else triggered by this. And you're correct, if this is approved, there will be a deed selling that parcel to Buck Gen to be part of lot 1.
How much land does that total do? What does that amount to be?
Total or just that easement?
Yeah,
Here,
just the extra we're
the
talking about.
7.2 acres is the total, but
So the duck bank area that's being acquired is about 3.3 acres.
yeah, for a total of 7.2. And I did provide a very scarce submission about the subdivision requirements, really, because there is it's existing pavement, and Luke mentioned the loop road, but the loop road is something that it's already paved area or gravel area, and it just, in terms of the area that's defined, it has to be defined a certain width, and we just shifted it a little bit, but it doesn't mean that anything's going to be built or constructed. We just moved it all really on the face of the paper, but on the earth it all just looks the same. It's going to look the same tomorrow that it did yesterday. Okay. Thanks.
Anybody have any questions?
So I've got letters and I included them, didn't have them in time to mail them to you, but they're more on your desk there, from Whole Oceans and from Maine Maritime Academy, stating that they're okay with the proposed changes. And you also have the quote-unquote scarce subdivision criteria that I also didn't have. Those were on your table there. I didn't have it in time to mail it to you.
So if nobody objects, I can go down through this, and we'll just, like, you've already mentioned the lots and blocks, so, a deed will be done. And if we don't disagree, or if we do disagree with the statement, it doesn't impact, we can talk about it. If we don't, we can move on. Anybody have any issue with that?
Do you have a question, Dave?
No, this goes back to you.
Oh, you can just hang on to it.
Just pass it on. Yeah, over there.
Ed, do we have any problems with that?
Well, I guess my other question is, the insignificant change, I'm not sure any of these are applicable.
Well, so that, I just don't want to just, you know, say, okay, done.
Rubber stamp it.
Yeah,
And I didn't wanna presume
What?
for
I mean-
you guys, so I had them do everything as if it was the real deal, and if you guys think that that's not necessary, that's up to you, but I didn't wanna make assumptions on your behalf.
Appreciate that.
Right now, all that's before us is a new deed. Transfer of ownership has not occurred,
Not yet.
so we don't know what the owner is gonna do to this. If they wanna do something to this, anything, they still have to come here. Any construction.
Correct, yeah, tonight we're just moving along.
Yeah, but they're not.
We're
they're
just
not.
moving a line.
It's just to make it so that those, power lines that are there are, that go with the mill.
go
That's
with
all.
The duck
The
banks.
power plant.
The duck banks already exist.
Yes, and they're just gonna go with the power plant, that's it.
Yeah, should.
well, it didn't in the original.
Yeah, yeah,
So now
Well-
they're correcting that.
yeah.
Okay, so you wanna just run through it and we'll be through it? All good with that?
Mhm.
Are you okay with that, Ed?
Yeah.
All right, so you mentioned lots and blocks, obviously they'll have to do, both lots will have to have a new deed, I would think, right? They're taking land from 3 and moving it to 1, so both will have to be
New deeds. yeah.
Right. So other than that, we don't have a problem, do we?
No.
No.
Okay. There's, 8.3 streets. It will cause this loop road to be moved, it says 5 feet. And that's a gravel area right now?
It's asphalt.
Who's gonna, will it have to be repaved, or will it be gravel, will it be, who's gonna take care of that?
Generation, it's on generation property. now.
Okay,
So even the 5 feet that it was on Maine Maritime, that's asphalt, and the relocated is asphalt.
okay. So it's just the matter of painting a new line or something?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
matching the lot lines.
Okay. Are we okay with?
Yep.
Streets?
Yes.
I guess so. I didn't know there was any unpaved area down there.
Traffic and access management? Except for that change to that road, it's not gonna change anything. Utilities? Anybody?
Change.
I don't wanna rush if you have, if it's something you're thinking about, Ed.
What you thinking, Ed?
You're looking at the wrong page.
Now, Lot 1 provides access to Lot 3, then, is what this plan's telling me.
Or lot 2, the loop road goes all the way around from basically the old north gate down through lot 3 and then back up through lot 1.
Which is the same as it was.
Right, yeah, it's not changing,
Correct.
but you can get to lot 3 from either way. Correct?
Well, Lot 2's not the problem, Lot 3.
I know, you said that lot 1 was the only way to get access to lot 3, and that's not true.
That's true.
Uh,
The north gate's still open, there's still a paved road that goes down through.
True. Once it's under construction, it's not gonna be quite as easy.
There's a strong possibility lot 3 will end up being owned by Volusians as well, so then it will be a non-issue. But
But that's,
That doesn't affect this.
that has nothing to do
That's
with what
not
we're
here
talking
now.
about tonight,
Yeah.
though, does it?
No.
Okay.
Fine.
well, what's bothering you?
Go ahead.
That's what we're here to do, is discuss it. So
Yeah, go ahead,
if
just say.
something's bothering you, tell us.
Well, the owner of lot 3 is dependent on a right-of-way from either lot 2 or lot 1.
So are there
Or the loop
easements?
road. The loop road could provide, complete access to lot 3.
Is that a deeded easement?
It is.
It is.
Oh, it is, so,
Hmm.
there you go.
It's a deeded easement that has existed since the initial subdivision, so nothing
Right,
is
that's-
changing.
That's
It's-
previously
Access
established.
is in existence.
So no matter who ends up owning lot
Yeah.
1,
It's
it's
down this
non-issue.
way.
Not an issue.
Okay.
It doesn't-
Yeah.
I
terminated.
just want to add
Road
that there's
comes
a cross
back
easement agreement that's already
down
in place,
through
it's been recorded.
Wood yard.
That loop road
Big
that's
new
shown
buildings
is
are up here.
exactly
comes
where
down.
that
This-
states it
it
is.
can go
It's
around
displayed in
here.
some plans that are already recorded.
Or from the north
So
gate.
all lot owners have equal access to the
But see,
loop road.
down
That's
here,
correct.
this pump
Including
station
Central Maine Power.
supplies
Central
cooling
Maine
water to
Power.
power plants, but it's also going to be supplying water to.
I know that was something from the
Yeah.
original subdivision that the attorney still hadn't
Right.
figured all that
Yeah.
out, but
That's-
that now has been completed, so everybody is covered with a,
And of course,
easement.
CMP has to have access to their two properties.
He just explained CMP does have access.
Yeah, with the loop road, that loop road terminates there.
Yeah.
So are we good with traffic and access? Okay. What about utilities?
No problem. They still have a right-of-way, right? All their right-of-ways, utilities.
So groundwater, wastewater, solid waste, I mean,
Nothing changes on
right,
that.
all we're doing is moving a line, so.
Those ain't, nothing on those are changing until construction starts for Volusia, probably.
Right, but doesn't affect this line changing right now.
No.
Erosion control buffers, natural resources,
All of them.
Agreed.
historic, scenic area. I don't want to offend anybody by anything I say, so, but this, moving a line won't,
No.
no.
biggest scenic piece was down today, so nothing to see.
If you ever been up on top of a stack, there is a heck of a view from up there. Not anymore.
Well, you still have another one you can go on.
Flood hazard, shouldn't be an area, shouldn't be a issue.
Shouldn't be.
Okay.
It can't be, those who's changing the line.
Reserve land, I don't see a problem there. Financial, technical capacity. Zoning, land use. Cluster development, mobile home. So, just read them all. Does anybody have any concerns? If you wanna look through the next couple pages to see if you agree or disagree with anything that's written there. And again, there's nothing changing on the ground, it's just it's a line on a piece of paper, so.
Well, the only two we found applicable were lots and blocks and streets, correct? The rest were not applicable.
I would agree, yeah.
I knew that, we make a positive finding that of lots and box have been satisfied.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? And the only traffic and access issue, I believe, is that moving or the relocating of a portion of that loop road. Because all owners have access, as well as CMP, to the loop road, correct?
Are you doing streets or are you doing traffic and access?
Did we say streets or traffic and access? I forget, I'm sorry.
We're on streets, but I can see where the two would be. It'd be handy to talk about.
Well,
at the same
traffic and
time.
access is talking about highways and public.
Okay, so
not local.
that's fine.
Hmm.
I
Well, like
just-
they said, it's already
So
deeded.
streets, my bad.
They've already got deeded access to be able to
Right,
access all
so-
the lots anyway. It's already existing.
I don't see,
It's a done deal.
somebody make a motion?
Make a motion that the streets meets the appropriate findings required.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? And we all agree that the rest are non-applicable?
I would make a motion that all those others are non-applicable.
Second.
Any discussion?
If they're not applicable, we really don't have to,
Well, we don't have to vote on them as,
we can jump right to the bottom and say that's approved. Based on our review, right?
what do we do with, we just had a motion made, do we just,
I withdraw my motion.
thank you.
Also,
Can we move to,
we can do that. Say,
To
if
the-
you move the proposed subdivision is approved, the swamp.
did somebody just make that motion?
No, they just talked about it.
Talk about it.
Can somebody make that
I
motion?
would make that motion. Proposed subdivision is approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Steve, you had asked the assessor to be here because you had some questions. She
Yes,
couldn't be here.
I
but she
did,
had
because
typed up.
in our, the packet that we got, just as a side note, I had asked, Luke to have the assessor here, just for, with all the things that happened on this piece of property, I just wanted to make sure, or see, or get some sort of an update as where we were with keeping track of all these changes that are continually happening. Not on a bad end at all, just on the end that, as we look at approving these things and things move on, you move a line, I just wanted to pretty much make sure that things were being kept up and the records were good. That letter that she had submitted to us, it was in response to the email that I had sent Luke about that, and the letter speaks for itself. Everything's up to date. Both she and the previous assessor, everything's up to date and recorded, and
ArcGIS we have.
yeah, and things are as they should be, which is pretty much what I expected. But just to have that on the table as part of the discussion, as part of this process, is really the only thing I could think that someone would be able to balk at, you know, with all these changes of where we at with the record keeping and reporting and that. So I just wanted to get some clarification and the reassurance that everything is up to date in the way it should be.
Very good. So, we're all set with that, so administrative business?
A couple of things with the ordinance that, have come up. Excuse me. The way our ordinance is written, if something's not in it, then it's not an allowed use. A few people have been talking about solar power, like on their land in a rural setting, not for the purpose of powering their own house, but for the purpose of a power generation facility. And we only have in our, ordinance, a power generation facility zoned for an industrial district, and I believe also in C3. Not anything like that rural, and the only mention of solar power in our ordinance is as an accessory use. I think because at the time, our thinking was that it would be put on the roof of your house to generate power for your particular house. And the way our ordinance is written, it says that you can't have more than you'd need to power your own facility. So, I think we need to discuss how we'd like to approach that, if that's something that we want to change. And if so, what kind of limitations we wanna put on that, or not put on that. I really don't know. It's something that we'd need to discuss. I know that the town has also talked about putting power panels on top of the landfill, which may or may not be a good idea, but they've talked about it, and that brought up the question, well, wait a minute, our ordinance
Which
says-
landfill?
Not the mills, the towns.
Or the transfer station?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that brought up the question there as well, well, that would be more power than the town needs itself, so.
Way more than power the town garage. Now they're more than powering the sewage treatment plant. They
Well,
seem to
no.
be doing whatever they want.
The power at the sewage treatment plant only powers the sewage treatment plant and doesn't cover it all. The
Oh,
power
sure
at
it
the,
doesn't.
the power at the town garage does exceed the town garage, but the credits don't exceed the town's usage for, like, here at the town office and other areas. So technically they're, plus the ones on the town garage are on the roof, they're not an independent structure. It's not a power generation facility, I wouldn't call it, but what they're proposing would be on the, out on the landfill, that would be a,
The transfer station doesn't use a tremendous amount of
yeah,
power, but
so. In any case, we'd need to address that. And then, one other issue that came up in the ordinance is there's reference, to properties in certain districts, where residential use is only to be a secondary use, specifically downtown on Main Street. But there's no definition in the ordinance of what a secondary use is. So, we have a legal opinion from MMA, but we need to get that into the ordinance, so. It's not something I would jump on tomorrow, but at the same time, if we're gonna update it with the solar thing or something, I wouldn't do it at the same time.
okay.
So I guess maybe if you have some free time, do some looking at what other towns are doing, or what your thoughts are on the whole solar thing, and maybe.
Is what you're getting at here is someone set something up, and the power that they generate, they sell back to the grid. Is this what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Power generation, just like
Yeah.
if they wanted to put a windmill.
Yeah.
We have windmills in our ordinance, we have gas turbines in our ordinance, but we don't have solar power in our ordinance. Nobody
So-
ever thought of it on the grandiose scale of, you
Can,
know,
so somebody can have a windmill on their property,
Mhm.
and sell excess back to the grid?
They could have a windmill farm on their property? This would be like a windmill farm. was what you're comparing it to. So you're saying
That is
people
what
can
I'm
have
comparing it
windmill
to, but I'm not
farms,
saying that they can
is
have
what you're
windmill
saying.
farms.
Right.
Okay.
I'm saying we have windmill stuff is defined in our ordinance with limitations and
So she
Can there be generator farms? So you said generators are on there, so could I set up an array of generators on my property, hundreds of them, to generate property and sell it to the
gas
grid?
turbine would only be allowed in
Okay.
the industrial district.
So,
Yeah, you
so
would
there's
make
nothing
money.
comparable to this really in the, currently in the
No.
ordinance.
No, I mean, it's considered a power generation facility,
Yeah.
but when we think of power generation facility, we think of AIM. We don't think of,
Right.
you know, you or me leasing our land to a company to put in a solar array. So, and maybe it's something we don't want, I don't know, but it's something we at least need to discuss and
Yeah.
figure out.
Interesting, definitely
Yeah.
interesting.
Good, Jim, come on up.
If it were to be, allowed by the town to put one on the, Jim Morrison, East Bucksport. If it were to be allowed for the town to put such a facility on the disposal area, would that open up so that, somebody else that lives within the same district that that's in could go ahead and put their own generator farm in?
Absolutely, that's why we need to discuss it.
Yeah.
Well, and the other question too is with the landfill, it's been brought to my attention that the DEP may have put a restriction when we covered that landfill up, that the cap was not to be disturbed. And I would think you'd have to disturb it in order to put solar on top of it, so.
At least someone should have to disturb it, yeah.
But I haven't researched that to verify.
Have to disturb it or add to it.
Depends on the thickness of the layers and what the layers
Yeah.
are
So,
on that cap. That
just
cap
one
was put
more
on.
thing to research and look at. There's just a lot of things we need to look at.
Good thing you're full-time, isn't it?
That thing was capped a long time ago.
So do we have someone coming in front of us with a
30
proposal
years.
that actually wants to do this soon, or?
No, I've just had people contact my office asking about it, and I said, as of right now, it's not allowed because the ordinance doesn't have a.
Okay.
I'm surprised some entrepreneur that's got a lot of upfront capital wouldn't have already done this, you know?
Solar's changed a lot in
Yeah,
recent
yes,
years,
yeah.
and,
Yeah.
you know,
Sure.
Should we sign these rather than hold these people up all
Yeah,
night?
sure.
while
Oh,
we
do they have a
discuss it?
Mylar to sign?
I'm done anyways. That was
Okay.
Yeah. Get rid of it, we can,
Oh, okay.
what's that?
Somebody wanna make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
The second.